All right, so have you ever really thought about how an epic story is born? I'm not talking about the finished movie, but the very first sketch, the actual blueprint. Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on a professional story outline for The Chronicles of Queen Noorain, and we're going to see exactly how a killer narrative gets built piece by piece. Everything starts right here. And this line, it's so much more than just a sentence. It's a promise. It's designed to immediately set this grand, cinematic tone that just whispers, get ready for something huge. This is how they pull you in. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a bird's eye view of the whole six-scene structure. Then we're going to zoom right in on how they bring the hero and her world to life. After that, we'll see how conflict gets woven in to build up to a massive turning point. And finally, we'll break down the secret art of leaving the audience desperate for more. Okay, first up, a story in 6 scenes. Now, what you're looking at here isn't just some simple plot summary. No, this is a professional blueprint. It's a kind of thing that's packed with descriptions, emotional cues, and even notes on how to shoot it. This story was built for the screen from the very first word. And really, that brings us to the biggest question of this whole breakdown. How do you go from a completely blank page to an epic saga? Well, lucky for us, The Chronicles of Queen Noorain is about to show us the framework, and it's clear, it's structured, and it is incredibly powerful. Let's dive into the nuts and bolts. Every great story, and I mean every single one, from ancient myths to the latest blockbuster, starts with a solid foundation. You've got to introduce the world and the hero. In the business, we call this the exposition. Exposition is all about getting the audience settled. Who are we watching? Where in the world are we? And what's normal life like for them before everything goes sideways? If you don't have this grounding, none of the action that comes later has any real weight or meaning. And just look at how deliberate scene 1 is with this. We meet our hero, Milka Noorain. We get the setting, a palace balcony at sunset. Instantly, we know she's royalty. And get this, the style notes ask for cinematic depth. That tells you this is a high-end production. See? Every little choice here is on purpose. And this is where it gets really smart. The outline specifies the feeling, determined yet contemplative. In just 3 words, without a single line of dialogue, we get this incredible peek inside our hero's head. She's deep in thought, sure, but she's also got a spine of steel. Now that is efficient, powerful storytelling. Okay, next up, introducing conflict. Because, let's be honest, a perfectly peaceful world is a nice place to start, but it's not a story. To get that narrative engine running, you have to throw a wrench in the works, introduce a problem, and raise the stakes. That wrench in the works is what we call the inciting incident. It's that one moment that just shatters the hero's normal life, yanks them off their path, and forces them to do something. It's the spark that lights the story's fuse. And you can see that exact shift right here. We go from that calm, public image of the queen on her balcony to this sudden hidden danger of mysterious figures lurking in a dark hallway. That visual contrast alone just cranks up the tension. The ordinary world has officially been invaded. And the voiceover for scene 2 does not mess around. It tells you, straight up, that something is wrong. Some shadows cannot be escaped. Wow. That line confirms the threat is real, and you just know it's coming for our hero. But conflict isn't always about shadowy figures, right? Scene 3 is all about raising the emotional stakes. By showing us this moment of trust Milka has with a friend, the story makes us care about her relationships. Now, it's not just her life on the line. She has so much more to lose. So, the fuse is lit. Where does the story go from here? Well, it can't just stand still. It has to escalate, building and building, pushing our hero toward a massive moment of decision. This is what we call the rising action. And all that rising tension leads to one place, the climax. This is the big one. It's the peak of all the action where the hero finally has to face the central conflict head-on. It's the point of no return, and whatever happens here is going to change everything. You can see this build up perfectly in scenes 4 and 5. Scene 4 is the choice. It's Milka riding out, her face set with determination. She's decided to act. And scene 5, that's the direct result, the confrontation itself, where all that tension finally boils over into a huge showdown. The voiceover in scene 4 really hammers this point home. It emphasizes the insane weight of her decision. This isn't just some casual ride. This is a choice that will literally shape her destiny. And that makes the showdown that's coming feel so much more important. And finally, let's talk about the ending. Or, well, in this case, the non-ending. A great storyteller knows the goal isn't just to wrap things up neatly, it's to leave the audience absolutely desperate for what comes next. This is the art of the perfect hook. The final scene in this blueprint is just a masterclass in how to do this. We see Milka. She's not beaten, she's not celebrating, she's just standing on a rooftop at night. The moonlight hints at some new clarity, and her eyes are just burning with determination. She survived the battle, yeah, but the war is far from over. And again, the voiceover just lays it all out there for us. Her journey is far from over. The next chapter awaits. That simple line turns the end of this story into the exciting promise of a new one. It leaves you leaning forward, wanting more. So let's just break it down. What's the secret sauce for a great hook? You need a powerful final image, a hero who's been tested and come out stronger, some unresolved tension to keep the stakes high, and of course, an explicit tease that there's more story to tell. You nail those things, and your audience will be hooked. So by taking apart this outline, we haven't just learned about Queen Noorain. We've learned the fundamental DNA of powerful storytelling: exposition, inciting incident, rising action, climax, and a hook. That blueprint works for just about any story. The only question left is, what story are you going to build with it?